People are watching us. They like us. We are likable, in case you missed it.
I love this. This is what newscasters do before they're at the very beginning and at the very end.
And we have one of the most likable human beings on the planet here.
Where?
Here. Michael Mack.
You? Oh.
Oh, me, I'll take it too.
All right.
I just had a friend of mine say she's now discovering at the age of 66 she doesn't have to like everybody.
Is that freeing?
Yes. I never liked anyone.
You?
For the longest of times. I tried so hard to relate to these frightening beings that were human.
And what age are we talking about?
Oh.
From about 6 months to...
Yes, yeah, about maybe 1 day to 70.
Okay, so in the last 6 years you've come to the next level, you're saying?
Well, it's very interesting if everybody is unlikable and unlovable. And if I learn to love one person like you, I could love everybody because they're like you.
You know, there's some deep truth in that. Not the part necessarily about loving me, but just loving one other person truly and well.
Yeah, or even badly.
Yeah.
Yes, to speak for myself. But then
even badly.
And loving is different than liking.
Absolutely.
You might love me. Liking me might be harder. Yeah. Truth. Columbia wants truth. She's all the way from West Virginia.
That's how it's done in West Virginia?
No,
tell the unvarnished truth?
Yes. Tell all the truth, but tell it slant, says Emily Dickinson.
Speaking of Emily Dickinson.
Yes.
So you have chosen a poem for your show.
We chose this together.
Well, to tell the whole truth,
yes,
you brought a few poems.
Yes.
And showed me 2 of them.
Yes.
3 of them actually. One by Rilke, which didn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
It was Rilke, right?
Yeah.
Another one by Emily Dickinson, which was more like a tight, short little koan. And then there was this sprawling and beautiful, surprisingly long for Emily Dickinson, surprisingly long poem.
Why don't you read it for us?
So we're going to get 2 renditions of this?
Yes.
My rendition and your rendition?
Yeah, maybe we'll talk a little bit about it before I do mine.
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay. A bird came down the walk. This is untitled, by the way, as are most of Emily Dickinson's. A bird came down the walk. He did not know I saw. He bit an angleworm in halves and ate the fellow raw.
Wow.
And then he drank a dew from a convenient grass, and then hopped sideways to the wall to let a beetle pass.
Wow, so sometimes he's nice and sometimes he's hungry.
He glanced with rapid eyes that hurried all around. They looked like frightened beads, I thought. He stirred his velvet head like one in danger, cautious. I offered him a crumb, and he unrolled his feathers and rowed him softer home. Then oars divide the ocean. 2 silver for a seam. Or butterflies off banks of noon leap plashless as they swim. There's a certain slant of light.
That's probably where it ends. This is a new poem, sorry.
What?
Yeah, that's the end.
What?
That's it.
What?
That is it, I know.
Well, why did you give me this?
Just to...
Did you mess it up? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, but I now...
Thank you.
It's a beautiful poem, as it is.
Yeah.
I'm going to read it again.
So, great. I'm going to put a period after as they swim.
Yes.
And then a line all the way across the page so that I'll know that we're at the end. So it makes more sense then.
Yes. What an ending. Assuming that's the ending. And we could look it up on the internet. But
well, if we read the stanza that follow, that would also be a great ending.
But I know that's the beginning of another poem.
Oh, you know?
Yes. Did you know that Emily Dickinson's poems, most of them, or many, can be sung to the tune of The Yellow Rose of Texas?
Yes, I do know. Or rather, I have heard that, because I don't know that I know much of anything, but I've heard that.
For example,
Can you sing The Yellow Rose of Texas?
I can sing it to Emily Dickinson.
Okay.
There's a certain slant of light, winter afternoons, that oppresses like the heft of cathedral tunes.
Heavenly hurt it gives us, we can find no scar, but internal difference where the meanings are.
Very nice. None may teach it. I'm not sure. This is not done well. I don't know if these are. I think that might be the end. We're gonna.
You don't know.
I didn't do so good.
You didn't. Okay. Well, you're trying.
Yeah.
That's what counts. You keep trying. You keep messing up.
Yeah.
But you keep trying, and that is admirable. That is worthy. That's one of the many things that I love about you.
In my first year in Queens College.
Is that another poem?
No.
My first year in college.
I stayed with one of my best friends all night to try to find out what Dylan Thomas's poem meant. A refusal to mourn the death by fire of a child in London.
Mm-hmm.
And we worked, I think, literally all night to get it in. And she wrote on my paper, "Successful failure." Because I didn't get, those are hard words for a freshman.
Successful failure.
That might be
well, I wonder if the corollary would be any more comforting.
Failure.
A failed success.
Yes, which would we prefer? Which is
Good
true
question.
about us? No, I feel I feel like a failed success. I failed at many things, and now life is good.
Have you succeeded then at life?
I discovered life most days is better than I imagined, including you and our friendship.
Is that a compliment?
I don't know, it's true.
So our friendship is better than you imagined? Is that what you said?
Yes,
Okay.
it has difficulties, as we know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When? When does it have difficulties?
Sometimes we have trouble connecting on television, but after the show is over, we connect better.
Yeah, but that was a long time ago. That was last week.
Yeah, now we're talking. Truth is coming out.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
I need to make a technical adjustment here.
Yes.
Because your papers are like right in front of the microphone. And
They are?
I'm afraid that they're like the rustling and the moving of the papers
Wow.
is going to interfere with
And
the.
he's showing you, he's making his fears come true.
So there we are. How about that?
I hope you can hear us. Okay, I'm going to try this down too. And then you can tell us what it means.
I can try.
A bird came down the walk. He did not know I saw. He bit an angleworm in halves and ate the fellow raw. Then he drank a dew from a convenient grass and then hopped sideways to the wall to let a beetle pass. He glanced with rapid eyes that hurried all around. They looked like frightened beads, I thought. He stirred his velvet head like one in danger, cautious. I offered him a crumb, and he unrolled his feathers and rode him softer home. Okay. Wow, Emily said.
Oh wait.
That's it.
Oh no.
Oh
There's
yes,
one
you're
more
right.
stanza.
Oh, you're right. Wow, I like it there. And he unrolled his feathers and rode him softer home. Then oars divide the ocean, two silver for a seam, or butterflies off banks at noon leap plashless as they swim. Wow, even ending it before that. Emily said she knows it's a good poem if she feels like her
Takes off the top of her head.
hairs are standing on end, or it takes off the top. This does it, I don't know why.
Well, here's the way that it works for me. I mean, it starts, the first three stanzas are really just vivid images, descriptive images about what's happening, with very little in the way of editorial comment. Okay, bird comes down the walk. He didn't see me. He bites a worm in half, eats it, and then he drank some dew from the grass, and then he hopped sideways because a beetle was passing. And then he glanced around rapidly as though he was frightened. And this is where she starts to step in with a little bit of editorializing or reflection on what she's seeing. So he looks frightened. He looks like someone in danger, and she offers him a crumb. And then he unrolls his feathers and rows himself home. And it's in this last stanza where the home run. This last stanza, speaking of home, the home run happens in the last stanza. So he rows himself softer home than oars divide the ocean. So very softly. So softly it's too silver for a seam. And then she says, she makes another metaphor, that it's like butterflies off banks of noon. Butterflies at noon, how they leap without any splashes. It's so soft. So soft. And I think that's really what the tone of the poem is at the end. That the tone that she's trying to convey is one of softness.
Why is it so awesome?
What?
Why is the poem so awesome?
Well, answer.
I asked first.
Well, it's most awesome for me in its vivid description. The way she talks about, and it's so simple and so perfect. He drank a dew. He drank a dew. It's like you can imagine a little bead of dew. He drank a dew from a convenient grass. Or that his eyes looked like frightened beads, she thought.
And he's just killed a poor worm, maybe not poor, and just ate him. It's just the way it is.
Well, that is the way it is. That's the way life is. It's
maybe
living and dying.
That's part of it. Could we be like the worm?
I mean, it's kind of humorous the way she puts it. And that's really where the stanza open. Here's the bird. He bites the worm in halves and eats it raw.
And he calls it the fellow. So she identifies it.
Yeah.
And you smile. So first he eats a fellow raw, and then he drinks a little drink. And then he's a little scared, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he might sense she might be around. Maybe. We don't know. Like one in danger. Cautious. And the cautious could be cautious. I offered him a crumb, but she's got a comment.
I know, because of the, assuming, if you will, assuming that the punctuation that we see here is the punctuation that she left us with. Her punctuation was pretty idiosyncratic, I think.
Yes, she was brave. I offered him a crumb. Boy, even though he had already had his meat, maybe that was dessert. The crumb was dessert. And he unrolled his feathers and rolled him softer rather than softly home.
Mm-hmm.
Rode him softer to a softer home than being with her, I guess.
Or softer than the swish of his unrolling his feathers.
Oh my.
You ever heard a pigeon fly?
Don't they make noise?
They're loud.
Yeah, and this.
Their wings are very
Oh,
loud.
this bird doesn't. This is just a bird without a particular kind.
Yeah, just a bird.
And then why is that so special? And oars divide the ocean, two silver for a seam. They're so, I guess they divide it so well that you don't even see the seam from the oars. Maybe.
I'm not sure what that means. What I'm seeing is that the ocean itself is silver.
Oh, so therefore I like yours better. So there's no seam to be seen.
Yeah.
Yes. And then she helps you, or butterflies off banks of noon leap. And she makes this word up, I think, plashless.
No, plash is, I think, a more archaic version of splash.
Oh my.
It may be that plashless is an innovation. I don't know.
Oh, but it's a beautiful word.
What are they? A neologism.
So why is it so special? There's somehow oars, butterflies, and birds leaving without a trace, really, or without.
Well,
without a ruffle.
Here's something that our audience can't see.
Pigeon, yes.
That we can see,
Yes.
is that there are certain words that are capitalized.
Yes.
And in Christian tradition, at least, that you use capitalization to emphasize something, something that's greater than what it appears to be.
Like the Holy Spirit.
For example,
Yeah.
so bird is capitalized and
Oh.
walk is capitalized. So these all suggest a meaning beyond what we see here.
Lots of them. Angleworm, dew,
Yeah.
grass,
Crumb,
beetle, wall.
oars, ocean.
She really throws them around.
Yeah.
Cautious, velvet head, beads.
But she was writing at a time when you would see that, I think, a reader of her time, of the mid 1800s, would see this and recognize that there's something spiritual or religious, or there's some greatness that's being hinted at here.
Oh, right. Oars, a capital ocean, butterfly.
Yeah.
So what is, I can feel it and don't understand, which is great, and not understand it. Feel the awe of a bird flying so, after having dinner,
Mm-hmm.
something brutal, but that's the way nature works. And
Yeah.
something nice, letting a beetle pass. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe they want to get the beetle walking up on his foot. You know, I'm sure it wasn't just altruism. And then, so quietly and inobtrusively, if that's enough, it was so even seamless.
Soft and quietly. Softly and quietly.
And somehow, that's
He sort of like disappears without
eerie.
noise.
Right, I guess that's a certain mystery. So this is great. I really understand the poem and don't understand the awe. But I feel
don't know if awe,
Maybe
if
that's
one
not the right
can
word.
understand awe. Awe is beyond understanding.
Yes, that's true, but why would there be awe here? It's so.
Well, I am in awe simply at the craft with which she delivers this poem, and humor. When she says that he bit an angleworm in halves and ate the fellow raw, that's funny.
Yes, awesome.
I mean, it's kind of
And this is
tragic
life.
for the worm, but
Maybe that's why it's so. This is life. You do that, and then you're gone without disturbing anything.
and so the bird disappears in the same way that the worm disappeared.
Oh yes.
Except, I mean, the bird does it a little more softly, perhaps, so less chomping involved.
And rode him softer home.
So softer, presumably, than unrolling his feathers.
It rode him. It seems maybe like death, or maybe not death, leaving. Well, that would be a nice way to say goodbye.
My beloved mentor, Maxine Cumin, said that at its heart, every poem is an elegy.
My.
It's basically a goodbye to something.
Wow, that's very beautiful, whether true or not.
Well, poetry tends to be written as a reflection on something past. And the fact that it comes out of memory, I mean, if it's in memory, then it's gone. It's not right in front of us, except in whatever way we hold on to it through memory.
Well, we read Whitman a few weeks ago.
Yeah?
I celebrate myself and sing myself. Seems the opposite of this. Did you know he wanted to come visit her?
Wanted to come visit
Emily.
Oh, really?
She would have none of it.
Really? Did he write her?
I don't know how they were arranging a visit, and she said, too uncouth.
Thanks, but no thanks.
Thanks, but no thanks, yes.
He did meet
Oscar Wilde.
Oscar Wilde.
Yes. But he didn't meet Emily, the two, the mother and father of
The mother and father of modern poetry.
modern American, at least. Well, I loved it. I hope you people have, I hope Columbia, and who's your friend?
Who I met today?
Yeah,
Janice.
Janice.
Your friend too. She was raving about the way that you have talked about your relationship with your mom.
Oh yes, I could bring up tears, but fortunately that's not the subject for this evening, but thank you, Janice. No, I found, well, I don't want to go there. So this is beautiful though. We have both felt the beauty of leaving almost, not without a trace, but so inobtrusively leaving. You ever have trouble trying to leave a party?
Oh, there have been times seeing all of the people, not many times, but a few times, seeing all the people at the party that I know and people that I love. I just look and think, you know what? I really just want to get out of here.
Yes, and it's hard.
It's hard.
I have found
Sometimes you just got to leave.
sometimes I just couldn't leave. I had to wait till everyone else left.
Yeah,
I didn't
that's one way to do it.
have in me to say, well, thank you, Emily. That was something without deep meaning in a way. Is that true?
I don't think so. I think she always had deep
So this
meaning
is deep
behind.
meaning, but it's not. It's when someone once asked Robert Frost what his poem meant, and he said, "You mean I should tell you in less good words?"
Well, the poem is sort of its own.
Yes, it's saying it.
Yeah,
What
the
do you
poem
want
is
to-
saying everything. But here's what happens in the last stanza of the poem. The last two stanzas. He unrolled his feathers, rode him softly home.
Yes.
I'm noticing that home is not capitalized.
And you said
which is kind of
softly, but
interesting.
it's soft.
Right. Rode him softer home, softer than oars divide the ocean, too silver for a seam. So, or butterflies off banks of noon, how they leap, plashless as they swim. I think that she cannot help but, forgive my presumption here, cannot help but be talking about time and eternity and death and life. I mean, that's...
And we just pass so well, really, beautifully, without fuss. No muss, no fuss, no
Nicely
butter.
said, nicely said. I mean, ultimately, unless one dies in a violent act somehow, typically that's how people die, is they just kind of slip away.
And maybe even in a violent act, it's
Maybe, and
fuss,
hopefully,
no muss.
even in a violent
No
act,
bother.
it's you slip away.
we have 2 minutes. Would you like to read it one more time?
No, not enough time to read it,
Oh, I see.
unless we read it fast, or unless we
No,
sing
well,
it.
We can try to sing it. All right, can we? Will that be?
A bird came down the walk, he did not know I saw. He bit an angleworm in halves and ate the fellow raw.
That's nice. Keep going on a roll.
Oh, I can't.
Oh, that was very nice.
I can't dishonor the poet
Yes,
like
that
that.
was fun. Just one stanza. Well, thank you, Emily. for revealing. We can understand why she's a great poet, right? This is great poetry, I think.
Great poetry is shrouded in mystery. There is something immediately available, I think, from the poem, but there is also something deeper, like scripture, that if you return to it and return to it and return to it, it will reveal more and more.
Yes, it's going to make me cry talking about my mother, just the death. After my mother died, we went down to Sarasota to the crematorium, and her body was laid out on a slab. And I sit with my brother, his wife-to-be, and my woman friend at the time, Andy Friedman, and my mother's lying out there on a slab. And we have a conversation for an hour. It's pretty much like this. And then she's turned to ash.
Mm-hmm. Similar but different in the way that my mom passed. I was the only one. My siblings voted that I go, and I went and saw her there on the slab, cold,
Yes.
and she was not there. This was just a shell of her. That was it.
This is close to this poem. This poem helped us understand that, maybe.
Maybe.